Get ready to play cards and fight for the throne. This is our preview of Crown Battles.
Crown Battles is a trick-taking game with special ability cards that mixes things up. It's got dragons, golems, goblins, and elves. Everything you'd want in a fantasy game.
All the variations on trick-taking make it a fun game that you want to play over and over again. We'll tell you all about it after this quick how to play. A traditional game can be played between 10 and 20 rounds depending on player count and desired game length.
Each round, players will be dealt that number of cards, so 1 card in round 1 and 20 cards in round 20.
At the start of each round, players wager how many tricks they think they'll win that round.
If they wager correctly, they'll score points for their tricks and bonus coins for their wager.
If they wager incorrectly, they'll lose coins.
At the end of the determined number of rounds, the player with the most coins wins.
There are also other gameplay options and expansions including blind bidding, alliances, super precision, missions, and more. We were sent a copy of Crown Battles so that we could do this preview video.
If you'd like to find out more information or to back the game, check out our links in the description below.
Crown Battles at its base is a trick-taking game. Each round you're going to have cards and you're going to play cards, and the winner who wins the trick is going to get those cards. And at the beginning of each round you're going to wager how many tricks you think you'll win. And if you wager correctly, you'll get the points for your tricks plus the points for your wager. The points come in the form of these coins. So if you wager correctly, you're going to get points, but if you wager incorrectly, you're going to lose points. So you could end up going negative. I like the fantasy elements because you have, oh, well, my centaur is going to beat your elf, or my golem is a trump card, so it's going to defeat that. Oh yeah, well, I have a dragon, so that's a trump card for everything. So I like the theming, I like the funness, and I like the base game of this. There are also other variations to the game that I really enjoyed, but the base game at itself is still a fun game.
So I will say, when it comes to trick-taking games, I've been kind of on the fence, right? Like some of them, I'm like, oh, I really get it. But then others, when we play multiple times, I'm just like, okay, so what am I doing here? Like, what's like, especially the co-op ones, right? This obviously isn't a co-op. This is you're trying to win, you're trying to beat everyone else. So I like that aspect, the very competitive nature of it, the fantasy with the dragons and elves and everything like that. You know, that also piqued my interest. So I really did like how they switch up with the ability cards, and then, you know, there's not always just one like trump card. It switches with the little spinner wheel that I was like, okay, that's a nice touch, especially with the trump cards.
Something new with the base game that I haven't really seen in a lot of other trick-taking or even in other games, in round 1, you're going to get 1 card. So it really does make round 1 kind of feel like, well, when I wager, do I think I have, like if you have the dragon, you're going to wager 1 because you're going to win because you have that trump card dragon. But if you have like a mid-tier card, you're like, maybe I should go with 0 just to make sure that my wager is correct and like try to hope that I'm going to lose. That first round, even the second round, kind of iffy. But once you get into rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 and going higher so that you have a whole hand of cards and you can play like a real trick-taking game, then it becomes interesting with that wager, because at a certain halfway point, you're like, wow, I just won 6 in a row and my bid is 7 and we still have 4 or 5 more turns to go. I got to start losing here or else I'm not going to get my wager.
I agree. When it comes to the wagering component, it is a little roller coaster. And at the very beginning, you know, I see everyone, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And you do some little mental math, but then you're like, ha, I won. So you have that satisfaction of winning the card, but then you're like, oh no, like, oh no, stop being so good, Lee. Like, mentally you're saying like, oh no. And then everyone else is like, yeah, keep winning, keep doing it.
Oh, my cards are so bad. You're gonna win so good. You're gonna win so hard.
It's like, no.
There are also variations and mini expansions that we played with as well. One of my favorite was the mission cards that are included. It kind of reminded me of The Crew when you're playing, only that's a co-op game. But as you're playing in The Crew, you'll have different objectives that you have to meet as a group. Well, this one, as an individual player, you have different objectives, but you can see it's similar. Win only the first 2 tricks, and you'll get points depending on player count and which round you actually won it in. You'll get more points the higher the rounds go. So if you're playing a 2-player game in round 15, this card could be worth 135 points if you win only the first 2 tricks. So obviously you wouldn't win the rest. So I do find that the mission cards were one of my favorite little mini expansions to the game.
So the expansions and the variants, I agree, they do add like an evergreen or just like a freshness to the game, because once you've mastered the base game, then it's like, okay, what's my flavor today that I'm gonna like? And you can choose that in the game. Sometimes I feel games can have too much choice and then you just have analysis paralysis. You're like, wait, but I really like these, and I feel like these can be combined too. So you might not have to choose. You can just say, let's play with it all. And then it just becomes a really crunchy trick-taking game, right?
One of the other things that does come in the base game are some of the ability cards. So normally when you're playing a trick-taking game, you just have the suits and the numbers, and you're playing in highest card or highest suit or trump card, etc. will win the trick. But this one you have abilities, so sometimes you know you're going to lose because the ability cards are a 0 basically. But if you play it, you can change the trump. Or if you play it, people have to exchange hands, or you can steal a card and then give someone else a card. You have different powers that you can use. You're like, okay, well, I've played all 3 of my trump cards. Now I want to change that trump. I'm going to change it so I can spin it, and I'll change the trumps to, oh, now I have more trump cards again. So I like the addition of the player powers while you're playing. Yes, you will lose that turn, but you may set yourself up for future turns to win more tricks in the end.
You know, that being said, with that ability to change a trump like mid-round or mid-turn, I think that was that's what really got me when it got me. Like, I was like, oh my God, I was saving up all these yellows, and then you went and switched up and it's no longer a trump now. But when I can do that to others and see the frustration in their face, like, no. I would say specifically it's the wheel and just being able to change what color the trump is in the middle of the round while we're all playing.
I like the fact that there are so many variations. It's a fun trick-taking game by itself. We have to wager and try to figure out how many you're going to win that round. I really did find it interesting. All right, we play it this way. Now let's play it this way. Now let's play it this way. So it's the same game, but you're switching it up and making it different each time. I really enjoy that about games. What did you not like about this game?
So I wouldn't say it was a big I don't like this. But these gold cards, I did like them, but I felt like when we played, some of it was just like, I'm never going to accomplish this, but like you're kind of stuck with it.
I have to say that the biggest thing I didn't like about this game is the player counts. When it's just head-to-head with the current rules of this game, I just feel like it's too cutthroat and everything's going, yeah, okay, well, this round I'm going to win 100 points, and the next round you're going to win 100 points, and this round I'm going to lose 100 points. Like, I just feel like it was all that back and forth. More players does kind of mitigate the luck of the draw factor, because if I don't have the suit, then you're automatically going to win whether or not you have the trump or not. Whereas if there's 4 players, just because I don't win doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to win.
Not super complicated. It's still a trick-taking game. It does have that slight differentiator that I think with the ability cards and switching trump cards, so I like that. So overall, pretty fun.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. It's a fun trick-taking game. If you like trick-taking games, you'll enjoy this, especially if you want a trick-taking game that has lots of variation that you can add to it once you've learned it. But I really like all the different variations and little mini expansions that you could add to it. So if you want a trick-taking game with a lot of replayability, definitely check this one out. And that was our preview of Crown Battles.
What'd you think? You ready to take this throne? Let us know in the comments below.
Once again, we'd like to thank the publisher for sending us a copy so that we could do this preview video. And as always, if you're enjoying our content, please like this video, subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny. I go party like a board gamer.